Welcome back to the Marketing Spotlight podcast. I'm your host, Jake Leston, and I'm joined today by our good friend, Taylor McCrackin. Hey, Taylor, how are you today?
Hi, Jake. I'm good. Thanks for having me.
Excellent. We're glad to have you. Excited to have you on the podcast, and like we do with all of our hosts, just wanted to start by asking you to introduce yourself. Tell us a little bit about yourself and your professional career so far.
Yeah, absolutely. Happy to do that. So I am a Spartan graduate. I graduated twice in 2020, the unfortunate year. Once with my undergrad in marketing, of course, from the Broad College of Business. And then I continued on and got my master's degree in marketing research with the amazing MSMR program. So if you're familiar with that program, it is essentially extended my graduation an extra 6 months to get both of those degrees. And while I was finishing up my master's degree in 2020, I took a full-time position at Auto Owners Insurance working in social media. Then as I wrapped that up, my master's degree, I continued on to a company called the Taubman Company, where I was primarily doing digital marketing functionalities, running the paid media program for shopping centers across the world. So if you're in the Metro Detroit area, Great Lakes Crossing and 12 Oaks are two of the properties that I marketed while I was there. And then most recently, I did a transition to the National Veterinary Associates, working on their pet resorts marketing team, which is a ton of fun. So if you're familiar with the brand name PetSuites, that is our primary brand, along with a bunch of other affiliate brands that we own across the country. So there's about 150, 160 pet resorts location that I'm helping to market, and a primary part of my role is data and analytics for the marketing team and also their paid media program. But I'm very new to that role, so
Gotcha. Wow. Okay. So we went from insurance to shopping centers to helping people with pets. I love that. That there's so much to unpack there, and we will get to that. But I want to first take us back to your time at Michigan State. And so my first question for you is, what led you to marketing? You obviously explored it quite a bit with an undergraduate degree and a degree in marketing research. But, why did you choose marketing to begin with?
Yeah, I think I was one of those lucky people that knew, like, in high school. I actually was a part of my high school's yearbook, and I fell in love with, like, laying things out on a yearbook design, but I also was a big part of, like, the sales team. Like, I was selling business ads on the back of a yearbook. And all of those kind of came together. In my senior year, I had a marketing, elective course that I took, and that's, like, when the light bulb, like, really clicked for me. I was like, oh, these are like all the things that I really love. It all is like under marketing. So at first I thought it was going to be advertising, but then I found out that my mom had an advertising degree from Michigan State. I was like, I can't be the exact same as her. So I pivoted and went to marketing. And then I found out about the amazing opportunities at the Broad College of Business and how prestigious of a school it really was. And that really just kept fueling me in my career and why I decided to.
Yeah, absolutely. Right. The practice of marketing is this sweet blend of art and science for sure. Can you think about your time in the classroom? Are there any classes or any of that coursework that you particularly remember, and maybe it's coursework that you're still using today or is relevant, in your work life?
Yeah, there was so many classes that have impacted different parts of my career. Maybe it wasn't my first job, but maybe it was, my third job or talking with someone even. So early in my college days, there was a class called CSE 101, which I'm sure you guys took, but I don't believe is a class, it's not the same title anymore, but that was the Excel based class. And I use that all the time. You don't think it's going to be useful to you in the moment, like who in marketing uses Excel, but I can tell you I use it every single day. And everyone is always impressed by my nested if statements, which is almost embarrassing to admit. And then getting into more of the data analytics classes, there was a marketing research class with Dr. Spring, who inspired me really to get my master's degree in marketing research. And then through the marketing research program, I met so many influential professors that really shaped what I wanted to do and made me feel confident that I could do a marketing research degree and not necessarily be writing surveys and doing data every single day. So now I can confidently say that I'm a consumer of the marketing research that other people are conducting, but I'm able to do that at a higher level because of my background understanding in, survey writing, data analysis. I can talk about conjoint analysis with the data analytics team, and that has really been powerful. So although I don't know the names of all the classes I took and how they impacted me directly, so many classes have impacted me.
Yeah, that's great to hear. And you started to go there, but I'm curious to know, as you were thinking about and starting to explore the Masters of Marketing Research, the MSMR program at Michigan State, sort of what led you to that program, and how did you ultimately decide that that was a program that you wanted to take advantage of and participate in?
Yeah, I had a couple peers that I knew that were getting that degree or going to get that degree. And I remember speaking with them, and they just said, if you're considering it, you should really sit down with Jessica Richards. And if you know her, she is fabulous in so many different ways. She's the program director, I believe is her title. And I sat down with her, and she just told me everything about the MSMR program, what marketing research even was. I believe I was a sophomore at the time, which is kind of crazy. And she really told me everything I wanted to hear when talking about an advanced degree, and made me feel confident that using this perfect combination of an undergraduate degree in marketing and then compounding it with a really analytical degree would make me like a powerhouse marketer, basically. And I feel that it did fulfill that promise once I got there.
That's great. And you mentioned that you're a consumer of marketing research today, and you're able to converse with your colleagues about that topic. Can you tell us a little bit more about how you're using some of that knowledge you gained in your master's program today, even though you may not be directly, executing marketing research? Tell us a little bit more about how you feel empowered in those kinds of conversations with your colleagues.
As digital marketer myself, it's really important to understand what the consumer needs and what they want, what they think they need, what they think they want, and who are these people that we're even talking to in order to speak to them on terms that they know and understand. So I use data and analytics and marketing research all the time to understand those core principles. Who is our consumer and what do they want in order to actually deliver that message? So, more of an example, but when I worked for my previous company, the Taubman Company, it was primarily luxury shopping centers, which, by the way, not a luxury shopper. I came from a blue collar family. I didn't understand what these brands were and who these people are. I thought this was like only in the movies that people shopped like this, but no, this is very real. And because I wasn't a consumer of that product myself, I really needed to dive into like the data and analytics to understand that person's perspective, because it would have been a really huge miss for me as a marketer if I walked in there and talked to those consumers at the same way that I wanted to be get talked to, because I wasn't that primary consumer. So by leveraging data and analytics, I was able to understand the perspective more of that luxury shopper and then drive home the message of what they wanted to hear, which was way different than what I wanted to hear as a shopper.
So, talk to me a little bit about now what you're seeing about and the consumers that you're reaching today in your current role. I know you're newer in that role, but compare and contrast for me, the luxury shopping customer to the pet parent.
Yeah, so I mean, pet parents, of course, are extremely enthusiastic and they love their pets. And we, as a company, as the National Veterinary Associates, really believe in like delivering the best care for pets, which as a pet owner myself, that is something that really attracted me to the company, because I was like, wow, I can really stand behind this message that the service being delivered here is extremely important, and taking care of pets is also extremely important. I wouldn't want to send my dog to just any doggy daycare. So that's a piece of it. But then also understanding that consumer, I really had no idea. I've actually never taken my dog to boarding or doggy daycare ever before. So understanding, who these consumers is, even as basic as like what are their demographics? Are there like young people that are taking their dog to doggy daycare, or is it primarily older consumers? And then what are their psychographics as well? Like what TV shows do they watch? What are they interested in? Why are they leaving their dog at doggy daycare? Is it because they're an attorney working 90 hours a week? Or is it because they're traveling with young kids? Like there's so many different types of people and types of situation. And how do you reach that consumer and deliver them a message that they want to hear? Because it's not one size fits all, that's for sure.
Right. Yeah, exactly. And I'm sure that, contrasting that back to your time at auto owners, right? An insurance customer thinking about completely different things too, right? And I'm curious to know sort of what was that pivot point for you, or how did you, land that first opportunity right out of school? And were you working and getting your master's at the same time?
I was really lucky. Auto Owners is a fantastic company that I was able to intern with on and off throughout my time at Michigan State. So I think I interned there since I was a sophomore, and then I left for other internships in between. And they fortunately welcomed me back multiple times within the same team, which for a Fortune 500 company was really a unique situation. And it was right in Lansing, Michigan. So I felt extremely lucky that I was able to do that and get some really fantastic experience. So when they offered me an opportunity post graduation on that same team when I was an intern finishing up my master's degree, I honestly wasn't really sure if it was the right opportunity for me because it was not in marketing research, which is what I was getting my master's degree in. But I'll be honest, the pandemic hit and I said, oh no, I don't think there's going to be any other jobs out there. So either I need to take this job now or be okay with the fact that I might not be working for who knows how long. This is literally the day that everyone was sent to work from home. The day I said, all right, I'm taking this full-time opportunity. And because of that, and I was already on the team, I kind of knew what the work-life balance situation was going to be. So I was able to get my master's degree while working a full-time salary position, which is something that a lot of people can't do and for a lot of different reasons. But because I was so comfortable at the company and I felt the company really took care of me, they were very understanding of my situation and my team was very understanding. I think there was a couple times that I was like, hey guys, I need to take a half day, I have like a huge capstone project I needed to work on. That was really incredible, and I got some great experience while getting my master's degree, so it was great.
That's fantastic to get, intern experience really early on in your collegiate experience as well. What advice do you have for students who are in that process of thinking about and trying to land an internship? We're right at the beginning, right? Companies are going to start recruiting for interns for next summer. But what advice do you have for students looking for internships today?
First of all, you need to visit the Russell Palmer Center and get your resume critiqued. That is so, so important. As someone that has now hired interns, even from Michigan State, if you do not have a primed resume, we're not even going to consider you, unfortunately. So that's piece number one. If you have not gotten your resume critiqued yet this year, this recruiting season by the Russell Palmer Center, you are going to be eliminated immediately from a lot of positions, even though sometimes you shouldn't be, even if you are qualified. So having that format down and communicating your experience well is really important. And next, I would just say, put yourself out there. You need to be going to career fairs. There's so many clubs that have networking opportunities, or smaller career fairs like the sales career fair and stuff like that. So make sure you're going to those. If you don't show up and make yourself memorable, you're not going to stand out among the other awesome Michigan State University students. And lastly, I would say just have a good attitude and be yourself. It's a two-way street. You want to impress this company, but also they want to make sure that you're a good fit for their team. Like just your experiences makes you great on paper, But if you're really difficult to talk to or not likable or not nice, then people probably aren't going to want you on their team. So just making sure it's a good culture fit for you and for them. So just be yourself and be nice is my advice.
All right, everyone, this is your PSA to go get your resume all cleaned up because Taylor told you so, right? As you've looked at resumes, is there anything that sort of pops out for you as if like, gosh, if candidates would just fix this, they would be really much better off?
I think the format is so important. I think if you do not have it in a standard format, I remember I actually worked at the Russell Palmer Center when I was a student at Michigan State. And I remember sometimes getting resumes that were to edit. Of course, I was helping students that were, pink with blue font. And that to me, like someone's going to print that out. It's going to look gray. It's going to be in black and white. It's going to look not good. Basically. So that is like a big red flag. And then, if you think about it, like you're probably going to send it over as a Word document, and then the formatting is going to get all messed up on their computer. And that right there, as a person that was hiring, if I couldn't easily read a resume because the formatting was messed up, it's an immediate no. You're not going to be a good fit for the team if you do not know how to send a proper PDF.
That's so true. The other thing I'm struck by, Taylor, is you found an organization and then you were able to, sort of stick with it for some time. Talk to me a little bit about what you found about building relationships once you got into this company. And I think that, any advice about, networking, and you certainly have seen, a breadth of organizations already in your career, but what have you found to be your key to success about acclimating to a culture and networking once you do land that internship or do land that job opportunity in a new company?
Yeah, so it's really important just to be a good team player. I think that takes you really far in an organization to be a team player and be someone that is easy and kind to work with. And it's also connecting with people. It's setting up those coffee chats. It's going to team lunches. Like those things are important. You may think that the work in front of you that you're doing is going to set you apart, but no, like showing up and being a member of the team is also just as equally and sometimes even more important than the actual work that you're doing. So I would say that that's one thing, like work hard, but also like be a team player. And then the power of networking is so important. In fact, at my time at the Taubman company, I was hired in by the manager and the digital marketing team. And within 9 months, she had left the organization, working for the National Veterinary Associates. And then about a year later, or I can't even remember the amount of time, she reached out to me because I had stayed connected with her. We had monthly coffee chats just to see how things were going, and how she was doing. We didn't talk about work things. We just talked about how's your family and how's life. And on one of those random coffee chats, she said, "Hey, I'm hiring a position on my team and I'm interested in you as a candidate. If you're interested in moving on, no hard feelings if you're not interested." But it was just another door open that would not have been open for me if I did not stay connected to this individual. So, as far as networking, it's really just about staying connected with people. And you have no idea. I didn't think that this staying connected with her would result in an amazing job opportunity. But the fact that it did certainly made me happy because she was an amazing manager that I was able to. Now I work with her again. She's my manager again, and I'm super thrilled about it.
That's fantastic. You just never know who is gonna be an advocate for you and help you along the way. I think that's great advice, to be kind and easy to work with and continue to network. What great advice. And
Yeah, and
speaking
even
of that,
networking with your peers too,
yeah,
like networking with your peers, you have no idea where someone that maybe you were in a club with at Michigan State, you don't know what organization they're going to go to, and then they have an opening on their team and they say, "Oh, I worked with this person in college that is great at XYZ and maybe they're a good fit." You don't know. So just keeping those doors open is really important.
that's fantastic. And you're saying what you said now, you sort of transitioned from a digital marketing role into now working in data and analytics. what sort of advice would you have for somebody who's interested in that field, who may be getting ready to graduate, or maybe is partway through their time at Michigan State, and is interested in getting into, marketing analytics and digital marketing?
Definitely getting the MSMR degree set me apart from other candidates in, my whole career, to be able to position myself really easily that I was data driven. I pride myself in being a data driven marketer. I try not to make any decisions in marketing without data to back me up. And the fact that I have that on my resume, marketing research, made sure that everyone that was looking at my resume knew that I was data focused. So that's really important. But then also, there's always data behind every story. So even if you're not getting an advanced degree in marketing research or data analytics, you're always able to find numbers behind everything, and you can communicate that really easily on your resume. Maybe you did a sales internship that you generated, X number of sales. Like, there's a number there that you can find to put on your resume to communicate how data and results driven that you are.
That's fantastic. Yeah, terrific. Well, we're getting near the end of our time together, so just wanted to do a little bit of a lightning round if you're up for it.
Sure, let's
Quick
do
fire
it.
questions. We'll keep them fun, and then we'll make them a little harder as we go. All right, if you're ready.
Yep,
All
let's do it.
righty. Which dorm did you live in while on campus?
What dorm? McDonald. Okay, sorry, I looked at McDonald.
All right,
Okay, you're gonna
McDonald
start
Hall.
again.
Very good. Favorite East Lansing restaurant?
The sushi place in front of the lodges. I forget what it's called.
All good. Brand you admire the most?
Probably Sephora. I just think that they are really good at catching trends early and good at talking to their true consumer.
And trend that you've seen in marketing that you think is going to revolutionize our industry in the next 10 years?
AI. I think that's the obvious answer. A lot of people are afraid of it in marketing, and I don't think it's anything to be afraid of. And I think if you do not jump into AI, you are not going to have a successful, fulfilling career in marketing.
Fantastic. Well, I want to thank you, Taylor, for taking the time to chat with us today on the Marketing Spotlight podcast. Appreciate it. And like we end every podcast, go green.
Go white.
Thanks so much.
Thank you.